IVM.
Welcome to another week on IVM. It's been a great week. If you aren't following us on social media, please make sure that you are. We're IVM Podcast on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. On Cyrus Says this week, Cyrus is joined by actor and comedian Gaurav Gera. They talk about Gaurav's journey in showbiz and the inspiration behind his Shopkeeper Behenji sketches. On Simplified, Naren and Srikat are joined by guests Avanti and Zain from the Marvel's Lost and Found podcast. On Geek, Tejas and Jishnu give their take on Ant-Man and the Wasp and discuss the future of the Ant-Man verse. I'm really looking forward to that. That was a great movie. On Varta Lab, last week, founder of IVM himself, Amit Doshi. Hey, that's me. Talked to Akash and Naveen about being Amit Shah's doppelganger, my journey so far, and how he started on IVM podcast. I'm sorry if that grammar was twisted. On Keeping It Queer this week, we have the producers of Vice's latest web series, Sex Rated. And with that, let me take you on to your shows.
Hi everybody, welcome to another episode of the Geek Food Podcast. I'm Tejas. Today I have Jishnu.
Hello.
And Jishnu, you have me. Sorry, I don't know why. But
I don't know what to do with that.
Yeah, I know, exactly. That's good. That's fine.
Thanks.
Yeah, you're welcome. Today we have an exciting episode. It's always exciting when we speak about Marvel movies, the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Today we're talking about Ant-Man and the Wasp. It was the sequel to 2015's Ant-Man, I want to say. Yes.
Yep.
And obviously we're going to be speaking about that. But before that, Jishnu, you have informations for me.
I have some news for you. More news from Marvel.
Okay, what's up?
The Marcus and McFeely writing duo has been doing the rounds of press junkets since Infinity War came out.
So they've written Infinity War. For people who don't know, these are the guys who have written Infinity War. What else have they written?
They've written all the Cap movies.
All the Cap movies?
All of the
from
Cap
the first one
movies.
also?
From the first one also.
Okay, cool. So they basically worked a lot with Anthony and Joe Russo.
Basically.
Nice.
They've done 4 Marvel films.
Did they
so
do
far.
the Avengers? Oh no, this guy did. Joss Whedon.
Whedon
the
did,
others.
yeah,
Cool.
So they have been around with Marvel for pretty much 10-ish years, give or take.
Yeah.
Doing 4 films since then. And of course, they've now developed a really good relationship with the Russos. And so they have been doing the rounds of press junkets in the last maybe 6 to 8 weeks.
Yeah.
They waited a little bit until people saw Infinity War and they could then speak freely about the events.
Yeah.
So actually, this is a pretty good time to mention. Spoiler warning.
Spoiler warning for...
We're going to spoil Infinity War and we're going to spoil Ant-Man and the Wasp.
We'll spoil...
Eventually.
Yeah, we'll spoil
We'll try and
Ant-Wasp,
keep it spoiler-free for a little bit.
Yeah.
For you
But
guys,
then we will let people know when we're going to spoil. Right now we're going to spoil
The tables will
Infinity War.
turn at some point.
Yes.
But what I'm getting at is that they did the rounds recently, and I saw them on Fat Man on Batman, Kevin Smith's podcast. If you guys haven't seen it, it's most fun.
It's awesome, yeah.
But they had some really interesting news, which I'm very excited about. So since they've been working with the Russo brothers for a while now, they've developed a good relationship with them, and I love everything that they've done with the Russos
Amazing
so
stuff.
far.
Yeah.
They have now teamed up, and the Russo brothers have started their own production company, their own studio, called Agbo.
Let me guess what that stands for.
Go for it.
Aggressive gentleman. I don't know. That's a terrible
That's
choice.
actually better than the real thing,
What
which
is
is every time Joe Russo would do a movie
Yeah.
and have a cameo in it,
Yeah.
he would credit himself as Gozi Agbo.
What?
I don't understand it any more than you do, but that's the thing.
All right.
So Joe Russo would get screen credit under Gozi Agbo,
Okay.
spelled Gozieagbo.
Okay. No,
In case you were wondering.
Yeah.
And now they decided to start a company called Agbo.
Nice.
And the Marcus and McFeely dream team
Yeah.
are basically taking over as their head of story.
How nice.
Co-presidents of story is the
That's
official
cool.
term.
I think they're a good set of guys,
Which
man.
is solid.
All
And
four
so-
of these peeps.
In their explanation of it, it's expediting the process for the writers in the studio that they hire.
Yeah.
Which is, as you'd imagine, especially in a company as big as Marvel or Disney or anything like that, anything that big, writers go around selling their stories.
Yeah.
They then get picked up, and then once bought over by said production company, they then have to go through any number of hoops and meet any number of agenda that other people have, which they have to then integrate into said story.
Yeah.
The idea now is that the guys at the helm are veteran writers themselves, and so their hope is that they just eliminate a few more suits in the process.
That's cool. So they're going to be doing their own IPs and stuff,
They
right?
will definitely be doing their own
Oh,
IPs.
man, that's so exciting.
So they're signed on. The list of projects right now is what they're calling one tentpole size film a year and a passion project every other year.
So they're going to be, they're going to be hired by different maybe like they're not going to be creating their own IPs. You mean?
I don't know about that really.
Like, because if
all
they're
they've
saying
said, all
tentpole
they've,
and passion project, that means the passion project should ideally be there.
I mean, I'm sure the passion project
MO,
will
right?
probably be all original. I would imagine, but I mean, they haven't said very much detail about this at all. This is literally like just a week or two old.
Yeah.
So I don't think they want to commit to anything right now.
Man, but those guys can.
It's so nascent.
They've been writing like gold ever since like Winter Soldier, which is arguably my favorite film from the Marvel Cinematic Universe. But man, when you have such a good grip on characters, is especially what we need right now, right? Because like everything that we hate about DC movies right now is because they just don't know their characters and don't know how to like make the plots kind of work. And these guys are such experts at it. I just wonder I would love to see them do it from scratch, with a new kind of completely new set of characters.
So on said Fat Man or Batman episode that I watched, they actually had a audience Q&A round. And somebody asked that exact question.
Oh, sick.
If Marcus and McFeely was signed on to do a DC movie, or if they were allowed to advise DC on what to do, how would you fix it?
Yeah.
And the knee-jerk response was just do one movie, do it well, forget about everything else.
Well, we have Aquaman coming. We'll talk about that maybe in our bulletin this week. But let's take a short break. Come back, talk about AntWasp.
अगर आपकी जिंदगी में कोई ऐसी आपको दुविधा हो जिसका सवाल कोई दे नहीं पा रहा, तो हमने बनाया है आपके लिए एक खास शो जिसका नाम है सुन लो जी सुरलॉजी, जिस पर मैं पवन कुमार आपका सूत्रधार आपका स्वागत करता हूँ ताकि आप पूछ सके सवाल सोनू से.
Yes, I am Sonu. Hello, pleased to make your meeting. I am a super reality celebrity और दुनिया के कोई भी प्रॉब्लम नहीं है जो सेलिब्रिटी सॉल्व नहीं कर सकते, तो मैं आपके सारे प्रॉब्लम्स का हलाइजेशन एंड सॉल्वाइजेशन कर दूंगा.
तो जी हाँ, सोचिए मत, जरूर सुनिए सुन लो जी सोलॉजी हर बुधवार, दैट इज वेडनेसडे.
प्लीज लाइक आइज, शेयर आइज, कमेंटलाइज. अगर आपके पास कोई भी प्रॉब्लम्स है सोनू को बताइए. सोनू सारे प्रॉब्लम सॉल्व कर सकता है. इसी तरह तो मैं सुपर सेलिब्रिटी बना हूँ.
Welcome back, everybody. We're talking about Ant-Man and the Wasp. Jishnu and Tejas here. Cool. Straight up, what do you think, man?
Super fun.
Yeah.
So fun.
So much fun.
I'm all in.
Did you feel like because we all knew this was going to be like a palate cleanser and stuff after the very heavy events of Infinity War.
Yeah.
And we knew this is set before that, so they don't have to even get into the moment. They didn't have to remove the lightness from the film. So I think it was smartly planned and all that jazz. I mean, it would have been even better if Ant-Man came out first and then this, but whatever, that's fine. Just so that
we're keeping it spoiler free for a bit. Remember that?
Yeah, of course. I mean, I'm just in relation to the events of Infinity War.
Sure.
Having said that, though, did you miss the stakes or anything like that? Did you miss not the seriousness?
I'll put it as
the writing in this film is not the greatest. It's fun. This movie is super fun. I enjoyed it thoroughly, but it's not as sharp as Infinity War because they have to be super. So did you miss that?
I will say that all of my expectations were exactly met.
Yeah,
and so
I agree.
I'm not disappointed by anything because all my expectations were measured up to the T. So did I miss the intensity and the sharpness of the writing and whatnot? No, because I knew this wasn't going to give it to me, and I think that's by design.
But then do you feel like Marvel now sets itself up for only greatness? Like this is hardly going to be in the top 10, if not top 15,
right? Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah. And I think again by design. I keep coming back to this recently, which is I'm now consuming Marvel movies like chapters in a book.
Correct.
Not every chapter is going to be the one that blows you away, but that's by design to then let that one that does knock you out, knock you out that much
that's
more.
True, yeah.
It's meant to be a supporting chapter.
Yeah.
And
it's
I think
good.
you can't,
it was good.
And you shouldn't consume this, out of context, out of order. You shouldn't
you can watch it out of order, though. Technically it is out of order.
Exactly. You can, but it's to your detriment.
Yeah, fair enough.
You're going to walk away with less than if you come in better prepared. And so I think Marvel are doing that again intentionally because obviously the movie should stand on its own and that it should be a full story and a complete thing and a full journey and a full arc.
Yeah.
However, you are meant to, take away a lot of implication, a lot of subtlety that references other things constantly.
Yeah.
And so it, I think, was meant to be a palate cleanser like everybody wanted, and it's meant to just give you just enough to, ask even more questions because we all love questions, don't we?
There's enough questions in this as well.
And the questions that are answered are like half answered, but just enough to know like, okay, we're playing this game now. Or like, all right.
I mean, everyone kind of knows like this was going to end a specific way, which we'll get to. So yeah, of course. So we're of the verdict that we did enjoy this movie. This was tremendous fun, especially man. Since so before we get into why we loved it, what did you think of the story? And I'll just preface it for everybody if you guys just saw the movie or if you're going to watch it. The story is essentially about the entire thing. Like the first movie was supposed to be a heist. This movie is like an expedition that they want to make to find Jane Foster.
Jane Van Dyne.
Jane Foster is the wrong person. That's the wrong franchise. Was Natalie Portman in Thor. No, rewind. It's they're trying to find Janet Van Dyne. So Hope didn't take her father's surname. That's interesting.
Yeah,
that's cool. They kept it consistent with the comics also. That's good. Interesting. Anyway, so so basically they're trying to find essentially their mother, and they want to do it because at the end of Ant-Man they found out that they could re-enter the quantum realm without being a perilous kind of one-way journey, so they can come back. So they want to go find the mother, and because of that, and it's also kind of right after Civil War also, like so Ant-Man is under house arrest because he's taken some plea deal, which we got
not right after, like it's a while,
and it's like couple of years after, right?
Years,
and he's taken a plea deal, which I think was mentioned in Infinity War as well, that Hawkeye and him take this deal. And so this is basically, he's under house arrest, he's trying to chill out with his daughter, and that's where we are at. And basically while they're trying to find the components to make this trip to the quantum realm, they need Scott Lang's help, and they also encounter a new villain in the form of Ghost. So, what do you think of the story? I
really liked it. I thought it's a certain type of hero for Ant-Man to be, which we don't have in the MCU.
A reluctant hero? No.
It's
not a reluctant hero.
A hero that has a lot more at stake besides himself. A lot of the heroes are very self-centered or have lost everything and have really only themselves. Like Thor's agenda right now is that's all he's got is himself and his friends, which can you can only sympathize with so far. Like, but to have like a family is not something that you see in the MCU.
Yeah, that's
Hawkeye
actually
has
really
it.
Nice.
We got a bit of it in Ultron.
That was the best. That was one of the best parts of Ultron.
Exactly.
As well,
And so I'm excited to see that play out, see how that plays out in the future. And also, obviously, now, since the game has changed with the quantum realm and the soul gem doing its thing, you know that the quantum realm is going to play a pretty big factor moving on forward. So asserting that the quantum realm guy, Scott, or Janet, or Hank, they have a strong, tight-knit family thing about them.
Yeah.
All four of those characters are basically family, and plus Scott has his own family on the side. So
it's this whole daughter-father kind of
right, exactly, and it's nice because nobody else does that.
Yeah,
it's such a simple thing, but when you think about it, we've gone through so many movies without that.
Yeah,
it's all been about.
Has there not been like other kind of story?
Not
like
really.
This?
It's always been about a significant other, which is fine.
Correct. Yeah,
but it's never been about a family.
That's true,
and that was cool. I was a little worried that would get boring, but I was pleasantly surprised at how good, I forget her name, the daughter, Cassie. Like how good
she's great,
how good she turned out,
and she's like slightly older, but it's great.
Just old enough, it was great, and everything about that part of the storyline was landed a lot stronger for me than I thought it would.
There's one scene which actually I really was surprised by, but it worked really well, and which I really liked, was that, they're amidst this like really serious operation when trying to bring this mother back, which is played by Michelle Pfeiffer. But, in the middle of that, he's just like, I gotta go home. I gotta go home. It reminded me a lot of Spider-Man comics where, he's just like, I can't fight you right now because I gotta go do homework.
Right.
It felt really cool to kind of see that this guy has some priorities apart from, saving the world. That heavy burden of a hero, which is this, I know you gotta do this, but like, I also got my daughter to kind of take care of, which was cool. So I really like that scene. Something that I want to say I enjoyed the story of the movie. There are a few things that I kind of did not like as much. I think the Ghost storyline, which is about this woman who is in perpetual kind of flux basically because of an experiment that went wrong as a kid, and Hank Pym somehow is to blame, which they kind of didn't really resolve, I want to say, but I just thought that storyline was a little kind of unnecessary. Like I could have done the entire movie with just the fact that they're trying to keep this lab safe, and the lab is ingenious, right? Like how that it's like almost a briefcase, and at the same time, this tech mogul or whatever, this guy, this broker for technology is after them, who's played by Walter Goggins. He's like there in a ton of things. He's awesome. He's a great actor. And I actually like that. I thought the movie could have done with just that, but they kind of had this other emotional investment.
I feel like Ghost was handled very similarly to Zemo. I thought that I think
Zemo was obviously I thought it was done better because but his whole storyline, Zemo's entire storyline was supposed to be subtle,
right. But what I mean is that it'll have more impact in the long run.
Perhaps,
I think it's setting up a lot more, and like what Zemo was setting up, he still managed to deliver on. In that the entire
and that's exactly what has happened.
The reason Infinity War played out the way it did is because the Avengers had a horrible breakup because of Zemo. You know what I mean? Like
that's true.
You're dealing with the repercussions of what Zemo did in Infinity War completely.
Zemo's a bomb. I think
so Zemo did quite succeed in what he wanted to do, even though he was captured. And in the same vein, I think what Ghost is setting up is gonna have a lot more played out in Phase 4. Because we'll get to this more in detail later in the show. But regarding what the quantum realm does and can do to you and how it can change you, etc., etc. We kind of had that teased with Ghost and teased a bit more so with Janet. And so I think we don't know what the fate of Ghost is. Like, is she
we
gone?
Don't know yet. In fact, the last scene of the movie has a lot to do with her.
Exactly. So much like how Vulture was left, up in the air, much like how
Vulture left up in the air. Well done, Jishnu. Yeah.
So I think it's by design. You're meant to have these villains who are not quite as straight as I want to kill you, and if you stop me, it's done. Like, it's
she
not
was
as
not
simple
even really a villain of the. I mean, she is kind of antagonist in it, but like obviously there's also this guy, Butch is his name, right? So I thought, but I just felt like there was no grand payoff for it, for the entire arc, and I just thought it was just like. It's kind of like needless, especially, and I love Lawrence Fishburne also, who's there in this, right? And he plays Goliath, which actually really was kind of disappointing.
Hoping
he would get to be Goliath, right? Because Goliath is a huge character in the comics.
It could still happen.
It could
we don't know where they've
which is why
the
way I'm glad about is that they're building the Ant-Man universe. Like they're getting more and more characters involved. So I like that. So I thought that was pretty cool, man. But Michael Douglas is my favorite, dude. Like for me, he is Ant-Man.
He just shone in this one.
He's so good.
He was pretty good in the first one, and he killed in this one.
He's so good. Like he's just...
I did not expect myself to get a little turn up when he met Janet. I was I didn't think it would hit me as hard as I was like, holy shit, that's
it was excellent. And he's such a great actor. And apart from that, it's so good that it's such a gift we're getting as an audience to see Michael Douglas in a movie.
True,
he doesn't do that many movies. And it's almost like what Hank Pym is in the movie. It's like this guy who's neglecting the public life and he's trying to just be this quiet dude. But he's excellent, man. And like for me, every time I see him, I'm just like, this guy is Ant-Man, And a few things I loved about this film, apart from Michael Douglas, man, don't you feel like the visual grammar of the Ant-Man franchise is so awesome, man. The shrinking and the giant and shrinking kind of they've
got it down.
The visual thing is, first of all, they've got it, they've nailed it, and they're doing such interesting things with it that it's like endless, man. You can do so many different things with it, and they really exploited a lot of that in this movie.
Right.
Like I really enjoyed what they did in Ant-Man, but this movie just takes it to a hugely different level. Like with just the whole, there's a scene where he goes to Cassie's school and like he has to just this visual trickery is like it was incredible.
You should see the VFX breakdown.
I want to watch that, man. It was so good.
It is so well done.
Yeah. And I what did you think of this movie is called Ant-Man and the Wasp, and so obviously the Wasp is like, this is the first kind of thing. It's the first time we've got the title of a female superhero in the title of the movie. So what did you think of the Wasp? Because I thought she was great.
She killed.
Yeah, she killed. She's better than Ant-Man, actually.
Oh, yeah, totally.
In terms of being a superhero, right?
And again, we knew that going in. And so it's really cool to think about how many strong female superheroes there are now. Because they're totally enough to have their own movie.
Yeah, and they're great. And they're all like good, well-realized kind of... And they all have issues. They're all their own issues. But just like the Wasp is like a very formidable hero. Like she's like one of the strongest heroes like already because of her powers.
I'd be willing to put money on the big tentpole film for the next phase is a female movie.
They'll do it, you think?
Because if you do the math, we have Widow, Wasp, Marvel, herself, any of the girls from
Valkyrie,
Black Panther,
Valkyrie, Shuri,
So that's
Okoye,
we have at least 6 or 7 easy picks for headliners for a movie.
And they just automatically...
I would put money on phase 4. Big One is a female movie.
Nice. Yeah, it could be cool.
I think it's...
Because DC's doing it, right?
One is, it's in vogue. That's the thing.
Yeah.
Everybody's doing it.
Correct.
And 2, I really want it to happen because unlike doing a reboot of another movie and just flipping the pages and making it an all-female version of that movie.
Exactly.
This is great because you can break new ground on this because you can just say like, hey, for whatever reason, the guys were busy.
Exactly.
So, hey, we gotta go.
Like, they need to find a good way to write it in.
You can come up with any reason. You can literally just say, hey, the girls are hanging out, much like how in the Avengers, like in Age of Ultron, we're just having a party and hanging out.
Fair enough. But
cool.
why
not?
Let's
go with that.
I would be really interested in knowing what they come up with for that reason. Because they won't let it just be like, it's not just like Ghostbusters or Ocean's 8.
Yeah.
But there's no reason for it.
Right.
Like, particularly, like in Ocean's 8, it's like literally like a throwaway line where she's just like, yeah, no guys, I don't want guys in this. Or for whatever reason, right?
Yeah.
But they would have to write in a really cool, like, either the Y chromosome is like not functioning or something like that. But it would be cool. So anyway, The Wasp is awesome. We're going to take a short break. We're going to come back. We're going to get into spoiler territory and just talk about the ending. And there are not that many spoilers actually, but let's just talk about it.
Why don't we talk about mental illness? For that matter, we don't even talk about emotional wellness. And if we can't talk about either of these basic, very basic aspects of being human, what do we do when we just feel like something's not right?
Hi, I'm Zain.
And I'm Avanti.
And this is Marbles Lost and Found, a show where we invite conversations about mental health and illness and just get people to talk about it, because it's okay to do so. Catch Marbles Lost and Found every Tuesday on the IVM app, website, or anywhere you get your podcasts from.
Right, we're back. We're talking about Ant-Man and the Wasp. So, spoilers. I think everybody wanted to know how they were going to lead into Infinity War. Obviously, that was the big thing.
Yeah.
And the biggest version of that comes in the mid-credits scene. Not even like in the actual film. They don't reference it. They made some references to Civil War and to Captain America and stuff like that.
Quite a few.
So, question. Captain America appears at the end of Civil War to come and free them from the raft.
Yeah.
So what? Scott just is like, nah, I'm good. I'll just, instead of living as a fugitive, I'll take the house arrest thing. Is that
I
what he
guess.
says?
Yeah, pretty much.
That's basically it.
Pretty much.
Okay, cool.
Was that unclear?
I mean, like, because I thought he would, so we were under the impression that when he appears at that baller ending scene, he just walks up to the cell. And I just thought he would break them all out and go off as fugitives. But I think, just a couple of them said, you know what, we got families.
Yeah, literally. Yeah.
Just spare me, it's cool.
Yeah, so Falcon and Widow said, cool, we'll join you. And the other two had like, no, we have other people that care about us. Widow doesn't have anybody that cares about her. Falcon, we don't know anything about. We don't know much about his backstory.
No, we do know. Like, I mean,
all we know is he's ex-Air Force. That's it.
And his best friend died in
but I mean, but like who...
And now his bestie is Cap.
Exactly. Who immediately surrounds him besides Cap? Nobody. So I mean, like, Falcon is not really the most fleshed out. Widow is not really the most fleshed out.
No, Widow, we kind of know that she's,
by design.
Assassin.
Exactly.
Yeah,
we know that
stuff.
she's chosen to be lone wolf, which is fair enough.
But they never addressed that also, right?
Yeah,
Like
exactly.
the fact that she knows Winter Soldier from before. And
I just answered your question.
What?
The next female-led Avengers movie is around Widow, and she's like, guys, I need friends. And so the girls are like, we'll be your friends forever.
The movie,
and then
I've told you this.
It's like making Widow laugh. The whole plot is just about like getting Scarlett
sad.
Johansson to like break a smile.
Also, for her to answer what the hell happened between you and the Hulk, bro, come on.
Yeah.
Make it so. Anyway, but yeah, they didn't address that Winter Soldier thing. I always wanted a Winter Soldier, Black Widow, and Hawkeye movie, like a prequel. That would have been the best. Anyway, moving on. Ant-Man and the Wasp. What happens at the end? Jishnu?
What we expected, right? I think like the most...
and I have a great question for you based on that. So tell us what happens in the mid-credit scene.
He goes into the quantum realm for a mission to get some healing stuffs back from the realm.
Yeah, we don't really know.
That's vaguely what Janet did for Ghost, is that she healed her.
Right.
And so like, all right, you go get some more of that stuff back, because that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Let's see how we can use that.
In reverse order. So we'll start with the scene and we'll talk about the ending of the movie also. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So he's in the quantum realm for a hot minute.
Yeah.
And then next thing you know, everybody else is gone. And then he's left.
They've all been turned
scared
to
and
ash,
alone.
right?
Yeah.
And so right now, as far as we know, Ant-Man is stuck in the quantum realm. That's where the movie ends. Question, why were they doing that?
Yeah, right at that time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was, okay, can you explain this to me? What is the timeline of events between the beginning of Infinity War and the end of Infinity? How many days have passed between the snap or before the snap?
I think one or less.
1 day?
Not even.
Yeah, I guess
Not
only
even
1 day,
It's just
right?
like a matter of hours, I think.
Starting of the movies, the rings show up on Earth.
I'll do you one better. I can give you a timeline of the Battle of New York. You know where I'm going.
Yeah.
So there, at least in the city of Chicago, I can tell you, we have proof that it was televised that the big donut was flying over New York.
Okay.
That donut didn't stay for too long.
Yeah,
though,
it was literally
right?
the events of the time we saw.
The events of like that scene.
Because
that
they
one
just have to
like
get
10-minute scene. Exactly.
the Eye of Magamoto.
Yeah. So the donut shows up, they kick some ass for like half an hour maybe, and then they bounce. That half an hour was broadcast in Chicago because that's where my boys at S.H.I.E.L.D. were dealing with their own problems.
This is for everybody who doesn't know.
No, everybody knows. It's cool.
Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yeah, it's cool. Nobody knows. So
Previously on Jishnu's watching of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
I watched it. That's what happened previously. And guess what will happen again? I will watch more. So in Chicago, they're aware of it. Ant-Man and Wasp and all these boys are in San Francisco.
Yeah,
apparently
correct.
oblivious. Apparently oblivious.
How are they oblivious?
I
It's
don't
like a world event.
They're too obsessed with their own minuscule problems. See what I
Literally.
did? See what I did?
Huh?
So
Okay.
my bigger question actually more so than why were they looking up quantum realm stuff, I think a cop-out answer, which is probably the case, which is, I mean, it's quantum realm stuff. They want to know more. That's a pretty good reason. So they're just doing it. Because
Also,
the Avengers,
because they
nobody's
have to-
called them. Here's the other thing. Tony didn't call them.
Well, yeah, he won't call this guy because he's under house arrest, remember?
Yeah, it's like, so he wouldn't think
But it's
to
like
call
a
them.
world-ending event.
True,
though.
but I mean, the fact that he didn't get a phone call.
I mean, he didn't
And
call
he
Cap
told,
either.
and he told him, don't call me, I'm under house arrest. He can't be upset that it didn't get a call.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
fair enough.
So the cop-out answer, which is probably the answer, is, well, we just got Janet back. We're really excited. We now have a tunnel going into the quantum realm. That's really cool. So let's do some experiments. All right, cool. So they're doing their science things because
Fair
that's what they do.
enough. Okay.
But the bigger question
Yeah.
I have is...
I know you have
It
it.
just escaped me. Wait, no, it was good.
Classic.
Oh, yes. Right before the mid-credit scene, at the very, very end of the movie,
Yeah.
we see Hank and Janet go to their little secluded island and have their 7 days, 7 nights kind of moment
Nicely.
on an island
Yeah.
where they,
Oh
get
my
the house
yeah,
back. So
yeah.
I was like, great, that's perfectly well earned and deserved. You guys finally found each other again. By all means, go retire in Florida or wherever the hell that is.
San Francisco.
They were on an island somewhere. There was like
It was
some...
not an island. It was
was
like at the shore.
It was some reclusive place
Yeah.
where nobody will find them. That was the
Correct.
point, right?
Yes.
And then immediately cut to credits, and then the second
in
we're
San
back, we're
Francisco.
back in San Francisco. I'm like, wait, but you guys are wanted fugitives. Like, you just had Giant Man all up on these streets. Everybody knows that you're out there.
Yeah.
You've been discovered after 30 years of going under the radar.
Okay. Agreeable. All correct.
Yeah.
But my question is, I mean, it'll be a matter of like maybe a week since
Yeah.
she came back and
Yeah.
then Infinity War happened.
Yeah.
So,
So I mean, yes, definitely because of Infinity War, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
However,
I know.
from their perspective, it's like you just...
they're like F the police, bro.
I guess.
Also, because they're Ant-Man, dude, they can shrink away anytime they want.
I suppose.
You
I
know?
mean, it's just a stupid
I
nitpick.
know.
That's all it
absolutely
is.
right.
That's all
You're
it is.
absolutely right. Here's the other thing. Here's the other big, it's not spoiler, but this is the other big connotation of this movie. So the ending of the movie, I mean, I know we should have started with this, but at the end of the movie, whatever, Scott decides to help Hope, and they fight off Ghost and all the cops, etc. And they get the lab back, which is like this nifty little building, which can become the size of a briefcase. But meanwhile, Hank Pym decides to go into the quantum realm himself, which is awesome. Just seeing Michael Douglas in a spacesuit is so cool. It's so good.
Yeah. It looked lived in.
It is so great, yeah. And so he goes and he finds Janet, and he finds her like living like a guess. So they didn't really explain how they find her or what's the scene.
And
like,
again, I think
it doesn't matter,
it's
right?
playing your cards close to your chest. So I've seen a couple of interviews with Peyton Reed talking about the movie after the fact,
Right.
and obviously everybody's talking about the quantum realm and Janet and like what has happened to her. Like, where did she go to the toilet for 30 years? Like,
correct. Or how did she survive?
How did she survive?
eat?
Exactly. Yeah. Like what? Like so many WTF questions, and obviously, all his answers were super open-ended and like nothing specific.
They
He's
haven't
just like,
figured it out yet. I
They
think.
haven't figured it out, and I think again you have to consume these movies now like a freaking comic book. In that, like, I'm just writing
Completely
what's fun
understandable.
right now that's going to get this character into a really interesting place that can set the character up for the next guy who's writing the next book, or next series, next
Exactly.
chapter, next movie
Exactly, yeah.
to then play with. And I think that's kind of all they had planned. And the
Yeah.
way they've left it is really in
It's
a
so
smart,
open-ended, but-
open-ended place.
Yeah.
It's just like there is possibility there is a way to get out.
Yeah, I'm not questioning that.
So-
Because I'll tell you what felt like a real cop out for me in this film, right? Because it was like, and this is again another reason why I didn't think the Ghost storyline worked as well. Ghost trying to be this, person who trying to wreck everything, and she wants to feed off the energy of the quantum realm and through Janet, basically the Wasp, the original Wasp,
Yeah.
and she tries to do it. They stop her. she's still trying to wreak havoc even after Janet comes out and is safe. But Janet suddenly sprouts powers, which clearly she has, because once you've lived there, apparently you've evolved, and that makes complete sense.
Sure.
But it just felt like, hey, this woman is trying to do this the whole movie, and then suddenly she's like, wait, I can solve your problem. And then she does some Vipassana and it's solved, right?
Reiki.
Yeah, Reiki. Something happens and it's solved. I felt like that was just like a bit of a letdown.
Sure.
Yeah, so I mean, so that kind of bothered me. But we also just don't know what powers she has and stuff. And fair enough, they want to do it, they want to probably explore it later on. But I just felt like it was just too much to believe.
Story. It's too much story.
No, it's too much to believe. Like, I don't mind it, but I feel like if they set it up slightly differently, something,
I'll give that to you. Yeah, totally.
I think, and it's fine. It's not the tightest Marvel film by any means.
Yeah.
Like, I felt like the second half is far more entertaining than the first half.
Sure.
Like, the first half has got a lot of storytelling to go, and plus there's ghost history.
That was a pretty weak opening as well, I'll give you.
It is a weak... What's the first...
The very opening where, like, you get Hank Pym's, like, monologue about, like...
Right. About
let me tell you about your mother again.
I think it's for people like our producer Janam who skipped the first film. It's like a nice introduction. I mean, it's like a prologue. And it comes before that. And we get to see de-aged Michael Douglas and Michelle Pfeiffer, which is great. Yeah. Which I think is fantastic.
More, please.
Apparently they're doing that for the whole film for Nick Fury in the Captain Marvel film. Yeah. They're de-aging the whole film.
Chalo, if you
That's crazy, dude.
Budget is there, so
they were just like, we just want to try it out. Works on Michael Douglas. Chalo, dal those. So I just felt like that was probably the weaker part of it.
But I think
everything else was fine.
Again, just in its defense, I think another thing is coming off the shoulders of Infinity War, where like the stakes are that obscenely high. I think to introduce us to a new villain who is then gonna like compare to that guy.
It's tough.
And
of course.
Literally in real time know that like this movie's going to end just as we meet Thanos, essentially. Or literally, we've already met him because the snap has happened.
Correct.
But yeah, like let's bring in a new guy who's going to be a real freaking threat that everybody has to get rid of immediately.
Yeah.
Otherwise, we're all doomed. It's like that's way too hard to sell. So let's just do somebody who's an interesting story move, because now the way we've left Ghost, she doesn't really necessarily fall.
She's like a fugitive, right? Now
she's like a fugitive, exactly.
Foster.
She is, but she's also fugitive, much like how Scott is fugitive. Like they are viewed the same as far as the general public is concerned.
But is Scott a fugitive now? Because because he at the end of the film, basically he comes back to his house and he gets let off,
you're right. He's not a fugitive anymore. Yeah. But I mean that he's viewed the same as how Ghost is, because people didn't know about Ghost until this fight happened.
Actually, yeah.
And
I wonder how they dealt with are the Sokovia Accords still in effect when they release Ant-Man from his... But
they're still in effect. Like Sokovia Accords means like lifelong probation.
Right.
If you're going to do your superpowering, we better know about it in advance.
I see. Okay, cool.
And that's kind of what Ghost is as well. As far as my best guess is, as far as the general populace is concerned, there is another enhanced individual out there who was fighting with Ant-Man. We don't know what their beef is.
Correct.
Maybe that Ghost person is a good guy or bad guy. I don't really know.
Yeah.
All I know is that they broke some shit and we need to put her as well under the Sokovia Accords.
Yeah, I think it's cool.
So she could very well be a good guy in the future.
It seems like they're angling it that way because she's sort of redeemed.
Which is great because all we care about now, we're supposed to care about right now, is Thanos.
Yeah.
And now I'm sure when Marvel comes in, she'll bring in the Kree, and then that will set up for the stuff we're going to care about eventually.
Yeah.
Post Thanos.
Oof.
Right?
Woof.
It's great.
Too much.
What a time to be alive.
Amazing. Yeah, it's great. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I mean, okay, the other thing which is like really, really good about this movie, I'll just say this before we close. But, man, the comedy is so good, man.
It was even better than the first one.
Yeah, it's even better. Michael Pena and gang are just killing it, man. They're so funny.
I honestly think that now between Foggy, Rosario Dawson, and Louise, they should just have their own movie. The side characters of the Avengers franchise, I think, might be stronger than the actual guys themselves. I would eat up so many seasons of that
movie. Yeah, everyone would watch that movie. I think, you know what's really great about this film is that the comedy of Ant-Man is very different from the comedy of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Like, most of the writing or the jokes are very like, one-liners or stuff in the other films, or like, that's mostly what it's about, right?
Pause for laugh.
Yeah, exactly.
Continue.
The Taika Waititi style, which is now kind of becoming more and more of a thing. But the comedy in Ant-Man is more like just awkward, just banter.
Yeah.
Like one of the scene at the end between Randall Park, who I love, from that show, the Fresh Off the Boat? Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
Also, wasn't he? He's what's his face,
Randall
right?
Park?
Isn't he in
The Interview?
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
he's Kim Jong-un. He's a great comedic
He's so
actor.
good.
And that one exchange that he has with Paul Rudd at the
Right
end,
at the end,
where she's just like, you're free to go. And he's like, okay, cool.
Do you want to get dinner?
Yeah, do you want to get dinner? I'm going to keep my eye on you. Hilarious. And it's just really, really funny. So I think that brand of humor is so funny. Even the truth serum joke is just brilliant. It was so funny. And Oozman. I would really love to see these guys come back because it's so fresh. And the other thing is, I'm so glad Peyton Reed is like, everybody wanted Edgar Wright to do, Ant-Man. And, we couldn't tell who did what in the first movie. But you can tell now Peyton Reed has a really tight hold of this, this group of characters. So, yeah, solid film. And, Peyton Reed should do the Infinity War, but like the comedic Infinity War. Like the funny one. I mean, like, not to say that Infinity War doesn't have its jokes. It does. But it's a just different off-brand kind of humor. Love it. Awesome. So, let's take a break. In that case, and then we'll talk about where it's going.
Long, long ago, not in Bethlehem, but in a place nearby, there was a wonderful birth of a huge show, which I like to call Cyrus Says, a show that encapsulates everything in human history, from the first Homo sapien to the last Homo sapien, who's traversed the entire world and then come back to India. This is a show which tells you everything about everything. If you want to know, avoid Google, come to us. It's called Cyrus Says. Get new episodes every Monday and Thursday on the IVM Podcast app, website, or wherever you get your podcasts from. It's simple as A, B, oh God, what comes after that?
Cool, we're back talking about the future of AntWasp, the movie. What do you think it is? Well, because we're not going to see these guys until... We're going to see Ant-Man because we've already seen pictures of Paul Rudd apparently on set for Avengers Endgame, which is apparently the title of that film.
Oh, damn it, you just spoiled it.
No,
I was clear.
We spoke about it.
No, we didn't.
I thought you said you read it.
Nope.
I said, what did
amazing.
you... I told you, what did you think of the title? And you were just like, I don't know,
amazing.
but what do you call it?
Thanks.
I believe it to be true. That's what you told me.
So much.
Oh,
yes,
God.
I believed it to be true. I didn't know what it was.
But how do you know if it's true then?
I believed it to be true.
Well, it's not. We don't know if it's true or not.
Well, now I know what may or may not be true.
Yes.
I now know the thing that
oh, man,
may
I'm
be
sorry.
true.
I didn't mean to do that. I thought because you confirmed it with me.
I confirmed an opinion. Anywho,
that
I'm
you
not bitter.
can't confirm.
I'm not bitter at all.
Oh,
okay.
God, I'm sorry.
So,
I'm
here's what I think.
Jishnu.
Here's what I think is going to happen.
now, damn.
So, there's a throwaway line in the mid-credit scene from Janet, which I think is
what does she say?
all that which kind of sets everything up. There's a throwaway line where they're explaining to Scott, all right, once you get in there, get the thing, go here, grab the, whatever, the healing thingy that we need from the quantum realm and come back. Whatever, yeah. So they throw away some like random quantum realm jargon.
Yeah.
And then there's just one line that Janet says, which is, make sure you stay away from the time...
time vortex.
Time vortex.
Yeah.
Boom. Done.
Straight up, yeah.
That's it. Like,
Straight
all right,
up, yeah.
that's it. So now, I think the most popular theory, we're going to go into potential spoiler territory for the future.
Right.
And I have set photos to back this up. So if you want to stay totally clear of potential phase 4 future,
I've not seen any set photos.
you just ruined the name.
Yeah, but I've not seen any photographs.
So here we go.
So you're getting me back, huh? Jesus.
So here's what people have.
Jishnu, be the bigger person.
So basically,
okay, go.
The best theory that people have right now is the fact that she mentioned a time vortex and he's trapped in there. Right? How's he going to get out?
You think he's going to go through the time vortex and not somebody's going to take him out of the quantum realm?
How he gets out is pretty much up in the air.
It's his own business.
But it is its own business because that's just simply a matter of how do you open the door. We know that the door is possible to open from both ways because of the tunnel.
Correct.
And we know that it can be done because it's been done twice.
Yes.
So that problem is a far lesser problem in the grand scheme of things because the bigger problem is obviously Thanos.
Yeah.
What do you do? So now that we know that there's a time vortex and we know that the time stone is such a big factor and the fact that Doctor Strange is gone and he can't do that magic for us, who can? The one guy who is stuck in the quantum realm and therefore has many doors.
Yes.
So here's where the real...
I know what's going to happen. He's going to go all Matthew McConaughey and enter the Tesseract.
Basically.
Which is actually another thing in the Marvel Universe, but still.
He's going to go back to the future.
Really? So you think that, if he goes through a time vortex and that's how he escapes the quantum realm, that means he's gonna go into the future.
No.
But he doesn't need to. He just has to come out.
Rewind a bit. It doesn't mean that's how he's going to escape the quantum realm, because he could escape other ways potentially.
Yeah, I just
but
think
I'm saying he
Louis
can
will come and press the button.
Exactly, Louis could do that because we don't know who else is dead or not from that snap in Ant-Man's world.
Yeah.
But what I'm getting at is that his plan of action to help the Avengers, to bring them back from the Soul Gem
will involve
thingy,
the quantum realm for sure.
Will involve the quantum realm for sure.
Yeah.
And because of time vortexes within the quantum realm, they can potentially go back in time, because
without the time stone.
Here is where the spoilers come in, people.
Yeah.
Set photos have Scott Lang
Okay.
and old man Tony, let's call him, which is present day Tony, grayed head Tony, which is kind of, he's graying, little silver head.
Yeah, but that's
silver-head fox.
Yeah.
Going back
He's
in
got
time.
silver hair?
I mean, you know what I mean.
Old.
He's oldish.
You mean he's currently...
He's 50-something Tony, as opposed to 40-something Tony from 10 years ago.
Okay, but in the set photo...
Hear me out. So it's Scott Lang
So excited.
and old man Tony on the streets of New York.
Yeah.
Standing next to a Avengers 1 Captain America.
Correct, the Battle of New York.
Exactly. So
I've heard about this
Exactly.
photograph.
So there you go. So you have Infinity
He
War
doesn't
Tony.
have a beard on also, right?
Doesn't have a?
He does.
No
Captain,
beard. It's
beard.
like clean-shaven, like pastel color Captain America from Avengers 1.
Nice.
Meeting Infinity War Tony and a new suited-up Ant-Man.
Who is this? Wait, Scott Lang is not Ant-Man?
Yeah. That's
Oh,
what it is, yes.
he is. Oh, in
As
a
in,
new
like,
suit.
in the newer suits.
Oh.
So Ant-Man and Wasp Ant-Man.
Okay.
With
Got it,
Infinity
got it,
War
got it.
Tony.
Yeah.
Standing next to Avengers 1 Captain America.
Nice.
So it's as simple as, let's go back in time before
But why
that.
would they go to the Battle of New York?
Because that's where the first wormhole was opened, with the Tesseract and Loki.
Correct.
So we can get Tom Hiddleston back. Seeing him actually just reshooting that scene in like a fun way. So you get like your
Interesting.
fan whoops from seeing Tom Hiddleston
Man,
again,
that would be
potentially.
great.
It'll be great, right?
Yeah.
So
I guess that's why he's also still part of the big press junkets also, because
he's still
his
relevant.
role in his Infinity War is minimal.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But he could play a big role
That's
in
true.
that redeem yourself now before you do it. Because like he's always been that gray area character.
Yeah, I love him.
So
he's one of my favorites.
Loki could get
He's my favorite
redemption.
villain, yeah.
Loki could get redemption if he doesn't open the wormhole in the Battle of New York.
Interesting.
So there you go.
I think the time vortex, will definitely be. Man, I remember because I remember seeing common elements of visuals between when Doctor Strange goes through the first time the Ancient One puts him through that experience. You see some of the same creatures that you see in the quantum realm. So there's a bridge between
It's
the
all,
magic.
I think it's part of the same.
Yeah.
Like,
It's just one thing is like insane magic and one is like, which is.
I mean, insane magic.
cool.
I mean, I feel like that insane magic just puts you into that different plane.
Yeah, it's basically science we can't understand, right? Like that's what they
That's
keep.
what
That's
she-
what they
that's
said.
what she said, yeah.
No, in Thor, the first Thor, that's how they explained all the magic of Asgard. Yeah. It's just science you don't understand yet. So
I think essentially, like when the Ancient One like taps Strange the first time and he like
open
jumps
your
back,
inner eye.
he basically just shrinks.
Maybe
He basically just shrinks down,
Maybe,
and
yeah,
that's it.
that's
Like
true.
just like pim particle in my thumb.
Also, and she puts one thumb on his head and like an LSD strip on his. Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, that's some crazy shit. Okay, cool. Time
So
vortex
there you
for
go.
sure. Yeah,
Yeah.
just very heavy loaded line, of course.
Yeah.
If they go through that would be cool. I'm still not convinced. Why would they go to the Battle of New York? I mean, there's 100 reasons, but it would be. I mean, why not just go to the point where
That's where it all
Thanos?
started.
Yeah, but you can just go to the point where Thanos is like starting to collect stuff and
I
just
don't know.
kick his arse.
He doesn't know, maybe. Because the other thing is, also now consider, if you want to really get into the detail of what that photo shows you, it shows you Tony in Infinity War, right? Which means Tony's now come back from Titan.
Yeah, he's made it back. Yeah, of
So-
course, he's Tony Stark.
So the thing is,
He's
obviously, the second Tony comes back from Titan, he's like, all right, I've lost all my guys. Who's left? Oh, Scott is left, Hawkeye is left. I gotta call them, because now you freaking better.
well, the original Avengers are still left.
Yeah. So they all pull
okay,
together,
cool.
and like, who else do we have? Like, well, these two guys get them out of retirement again.
Yeah.
And when he meets Ant-Man, they're like, all right, let's put our heads together. He's like, well, I have a time vortex thing in this quantum realm thingamajiggy.
Jishnu, you've cracked it.
And so they're like, all
You've
right,
cracked the movie script.
let's go back to where it all began.
Now, here's the thing. We all had assumptions for Infinity War.
Yeah.
None of them were right.
Yeah, absolutely.
Which is why I'm really excited.
Yeah.
because I know
believe
they're
me,
going to go
I
back.
hope I'm wrong.
I
Of
hope
course
I'm wrong.
I hope I'm
I
wrong.
hope they don't,
but here's the best part, man. This is why I love this shit, is because when I saw... Like, remember that feeling when you first saw Spidey in the Civil War trailer?
Oh, man, yeah.
That
that's great.
big whoop?
Yeah.
When I saw the Infinity War trailer, instead of going whoop, I remember screaming, it makes so much sense.
Correct.
Because I love seeing how, even though it's not what you planned or what you wanted or what you thought it would be,
what it would be,
it makes complete sense.
Yeah,
I feel like I am very more than 100% confident that these guys will make something
they'll kill it. They'll do such a good job.
There will definitely be things. There'll definitely be things that are like have to be cop outs and throwaways because of the nature of it. But I feel like it's gonna
fucking awesome,
kill, because if they do take this on, if they do this time thingy, what I'm really excited to see is a newer take on the Back to the Future plot line. Because that's exactly what this is.
I don't know if they would do the entire movie that way.
It won't be the entire movie.
Yeah, because it'll have a showdown.
It'll be like,
bro.
Can you imagine seeing that circle shot again, but with a different context to it?
That would be so funny.
Imagine the circle shot and then like
they're just all standing
somebody else just
there.
shows up and is like, no, actually, move to the left so you don't die. Or like, you know, whatever the hell.
It would be like the Prisoner of Azkaban.
Exactly.
You think these new Avengers, the post-Infinity War Avengers, had something to do with the original Avengers surviving the Battle of New York? Because if time is immutable, that means they were actually there already.
Why not?
I'm twiddling my fingers.
He's touching himself.
I'm excited. All right, cool. That's the episode. Tell us what you think is going to happen. Avengers Endgame. I think that's the name of the movie. Do you want to know how they found out?
Sure.
This is all speculation. So basically, the cinematographer was listing his credits for all his films.
An IMDb slip?
Not an IMDb, something. And these nerds are so hardcore that they found this out and it said 2016 Civil War, 2017 something else, 2018 Infinity War, 2019 Avengers, Endgame. And then like an hour later it was taken down and said Untitled Avengers 4. So we don't know. This could be that.
Sure. They can still change it because they're still friggin' editing it.
Yeah. So what else was it going to be? But I think it's a cool name.
It's a great name.
Great name because it's what Doctor Strange says.
Yeah. But I feel like again they're smart enough to know like, all right, if it's leaked, then let's just change it because they can. And so why not? It's just a name.
Yeah.
Like,
but it's like a cool name.
It's a cool name.
Guys. This is a good one. Endgame is solid because it makes so much sense. All right, cool. Let us know what you think of Avengers Endgame or what you think is going to happen in the future. Ant-Man and the Wasp. Man, you know what? They should make the new Ant-Man 3. They should call it Ant-Man and the Wasp and the something. That would be funny. And then they just keep adding names to it. All right.
Ant-Man and the Wasp and the Spider-Man.
And the Spider-Man.
Let's just start crossing streams, man.
Yeah. Let's just
we had a Thor and Hulk. Like we can.
Sorry? And the Bumblebee.
And the Bumble.
Just cross universes. Okay.
Oh my God, let's calm down, everybody.
All right, cool. Contact geekfruit@gmail.com. That's where you can write to us. Or you can find us on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter @geekfruithq. Cool. Yeah, that's our podcast. Thanks, Jishnu.
Toodaloo.
Every week comes a show where three people come together to tell you about stuff they like. A movie, a TV show, a book, and other stuff. Tune in every Monday on the IVM Podcast app to IVM Likes. Batman approves this message. Thank you, Batman.
Hello there, my name is Naveen Narona, and as a gay person in India, I get asked a lot of stupid questions.
Beta, is it LGBT or eligibility?
How do two men procreate?
Bro, is Grindr better than Tinder or what?
We answer all these questions and much more on my podcast, Keeping It Queer, where I talk to individuals from the LGBT community in India and learn about their personal stories. Catch all the episodes on the IVM Podcast app or any other podcasting app you like. Till then, keep it queer.